Deep beneath the Indian Ocean, a new power is quietly on the move. We're talking about one of the most secretive and strategic military assets a country can have, India's submarine force. Now, these aren't just boats, they are the silent guardians of a nation's survival. And today we're going to take a deep dive into how they work.
So let's start with a really important question. In a world with nuclear weapons, how does a country absolutely, positively guarantee its survival against a surprise attack? How do you make sure you can always strike back, no matter what? Well, the answer lies in a strategy that's all about certainty.
And that strategy is called the nuclear triad. It's really the gold standard for any major nuclear power. Think of it like a three-legged stool. You've got missiles on land, you've got bombs on planes, and you've got missiles hidden in the ocean. The idea is, even if an enemy takes out one or maybe even two of those legs, that third leg is still standing strong, ready to retaliate.
But here's the thing. Of those three legs, one is considered the ultimate insurance policy, and that's the ballistic missile submarine. Why? Well, it's simple. You can't hit what you can't find. Hiding deep under the waves, a nuclear submarine is pretty much the most survivable piece of military hardware on Earth, making sure that a devastating second strike is always on the table.
Okay, so with that huge strategic importance in mind, let's take a look at India's underwater fleet. How big is it, and what's it really made of?
Right now, the Indian Navy operates 18 submarines. But, that number alone doesn't really tell you the whole story. The really interesting part is when you break down what these subs are actually designed to do.
So, if you look at the fleet, the vast majority, 17 of those 18 boats, are what we call conventional diesel-electric attack submarines, or SSKs. But it's that one other submarine that's the real game changer, a nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarine, an SSBN.
And it's so important to get the difference here. The SSBN, its whole job is strategic. It's there to hide, to be invisible, and to be ready to launch nuclear missiles if the absolute worst happens. The SSKs, on the other hand, they're the tactical workhorses. They're out there hunting enemy ships and other submarines, controlling the sea lanes. Two very different jobs, but both are totally vital.
So let's start with that special 1 in 18, the absolute tip of India's strategic spear, the indigenously built Arihant-class submarine.
The INS Arihant is, frankly, a monumental achievement. Because it's nuclear-powered, its reactor lets it stay submerged pretty much indefinitely. The only limit is how much food you can pack for the crew. It was commissioned in 2016, and just 2 years later, it finished its first deterrent patrol, which officially made India's nuclear triad a reality. And on board, it can carry up to 12 K-15 ballistic missiles.
But even the most advanced technology can be brought down by a simple mistake. In 2018, reports came out that the Arihant was actually out of action for almost a year. Why? Because someone accidentally left a hatch open and it flooded a critical part of the propulsion system. It's just a wild reminder of how incredibly complex and high-stakes operating these machines really is.
And India is definitely not standing still. This whole deterrent is evolving. The Arihant's current K-15 missiles have a range of about 700 kilometers. But the next generation of these submarines, they're going to carry the K-4 missile, which can travel 3,500 kilometers. I mean, that's a 5-fold increase in range. It completely changes the strategic game.
And there's a whole production line humming along. After the INS Arihant, the second boat in the class, the INS Arihant, is expected to be commissioned very, very soon. And there are two more, known right now as S3 and S4, that are already under construction. The plan is to have a formidable class of at least 4 of these nuclear guardians.
Okay, now let's turn our attention to the other 17 submarines. We're shifting from that single ultimate strategic deterrent to the conventional diesel-electric backbone of the fleet. These are the workhorses that are out there controlling the seas every single day.
The conventional fleet is really a mix of designs from 3 different countries. You've got 7 Russian-designed Kilo-class boats, 4 older but still upgraded German Type 209s, and then the newest and most advanced of the bunch, the French-designed Scorpene class.
Those 7 Kilo-class boats, they're the real mainstay, the biggest single group in the fleet. And don't think of them as old news. They are being systematically upgraded with modern systems, including land attack cruise missiles. That gives them a really powerful punch far beyond just sinking ships.
Now, for decades, India's strategy was to buy its submarines from places like Russia and Germany, but there's been a massive strategic shift. Let's look at the Make in India revolution that is totally reshaping the fleet. And this is where the story gets really interesting. While the newest Kalvari-class subs are based on a French design, they are being built entirely in India, at a shipyard in Mumbai. I mean, this is a huge leap in their domestic capability, and it starts to break that old reliance on foreign countries for new submarines.
And you just have to look at the pace of this program. It's been pretty remarkable. Since 2017, they've been launching a brand new advanced submarine almost every single year. The 6th boat is expected to join the fleet this year. That is what rapid modernization looks like in the real world.
But the story doesn't stop there. Just recently, India inked another major deal, this time with Germany's THINQ for 6 more advanced submarines. And, you guessed it, they're going to be built in India, which really cements this whole Make in India approach as the way forward. So what do we have? We have more submarines, more powerful submarines, and more home-built submarines. But why? Let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger strategic picture that's driving this underwater buildup.
Well, a fleet this advanced needs homes that are just as advanced. India is pouring money into new infrastructure, like a massive new base at Karwar, but the real crown jewel is a top-secret base on the East Coast called INS Varsha. It's reported to have hardened underground pens, basically submarine bunkers, designed specifically to protect its nuclear submarines from any kind of attack.
And let's be clear about what's motivating all this. The development of INS Varsha and the whole naval expansion in general is widely seen as a direct response to China's rapidly growing navy and its increasing presence in the Indian Ocean. This is geopolitics playing out in concrete and steel.
So we end with this thought. India is methodically, and very deliberately, building one of the world's most capable submarine forces. It's centered on a secure nuclear deterrent and a growing fleet of modern, home-built attack subs. The question we're all left with is this. As these silent guardians become more powerful and more numerous, how will their presence reshape the strategic balance of power, not just in the Indian Ocean, but beneath the waves across the entire globe?